told y'all we'd be back quicker.
Quick take.
Back like cooked crap.
Yep.
Anyway, Ronin Talk. I don't know what episode we're on.
14.
14. Look, see, Paul the producer, man.
Stick to what you do, bro.
See?
That's why you
know, you're on your shit.
All
we
that
like
working
this.
out P90X video stuff, kill that.
Yeah, stop. It's not the
bro.
90s.
I'm Andrew the Beast Tyson.
Sean the Potential Allen. And boxing. Earl Spence's performance against Mikey Garcia. Hey, I called it. I think Earl Spence is one of the best boxers on the planet right now.
Easily.
If not the best boxer on the planet. Like, come on, let's jump off the ledge.
So listen, this is the thing. I'm impressed that Mikey was able. You know, I expected him to survive, but I'm impressed that he was able to not get knocked down because I expected more exchanges in the beginning. I thought that Spence was going to wear him down. Spence proved that not only is he bigger, faster, more athletic, but he probably has at least the same boxing IQ. And then
I don't think it's the same.
It might be high.
I think his boxing IQ.
No, it might be high because he was very patient. The lead jab, and so the fact that the fight he never really gave any pushback. I scored it a shutout. A couple people gave Mikey the second round, which I think was just because it was like a valiant effort.
Yeah.
I scored it a shutout, and you gotta respect Mikey, man. There was times where Spence started teeing off, bro, and like, you know,
Mikey. Remember one time you and I behind closed doors we had a conversation about Mexican and just Spanish fighters in general.
Yeah, bro.
Their durability.
Yeah,
and what they can do. Like,
dude, the fact that he jumped up 2 weight classes, I think that was crazy. Another thing is like, you know, I look at the same issue. Now, once again, Canelo is making all the money, so I'm not going to say you're not Canelo for the Mayweather fight, but I will say, man, can you just imagine if Canelo was a 50-0 fighter, no losses?
Madness.
Like, yeah, he got that. Like, what is that Dazzin contract? It was $300 million, right?
Yeah.
What is that contract if he has an O instead of a loss to Mayweather? Like, what would that contract?
Him and Mayweather are now in the same echelon of fighters.
Yeah,
in terms of pay scale.
We would have had to, and so. Now I look at this same situation, man. Like, you know, you go back. This is a guy who they were talking about fighting Lomachenko. This is a guy who definitely could have fought Crawford. Because now it's looking like either Pacquiao or Crawford is Spence's next fight. And both those fights I think are much more winnable for Garcia. Now I will say this. I still believe Mikey Garcia would lose to Terrence Crawford. I think Crawford's the next guy. I think he's the...
Honestly, to me, my top, I'd say 4 boxers right now. Lomachenko, Crawford, Spence, and Thurman.
Fair enough. I put Garcia ahead of Thurman because I think Thurman, that last performance, I just saw a lot of rust. That was my only issue. I don't know how I feel fully about Gervonta still right now. Like, I want to see him.
He hasn't given me the performance.
Yeah, because he was supposed to have that fight against Mares, and it didn't happen, so that's not his fault.
Right.
And, you know, to Spence's credit, you know, this was a fight that they gave him a lot of credit for. But like I said, it was still a guy who was undersized, jumping up 2 weight classes, who himself had, had like come back off of being gone for a while, right? He's been a pro for like 10 years. Ironically, the most impressive fight of that night for me was David Benavidez against Jamil Love.
Hey, you know what? Side note, shout out my guy Arian, because Arian told me, hey, watch what Benavidez does this weekend.
If you don't know who David Benavidez is, please go back and watch the fight.
100%.
So Darrell is the one who has his super middleweight belt, and it's because they stripped him of it. He took up I think about maybe 18 months off, and man, he came back looking better than ever. I think Darrell's in some serious trouble. I've never seen anybody do Love like that. Like, yeah, we see him lose. I think he got knocked out once.
Yeah, but Benavidez went in there, and once again, Spanish fighters, bro, they're a different breed when they're
And this is something that was interesting that Alice and those guys were talking about. It's like, you never see a super middleweight. Now, you can bring up Canelo, which is a little different because he's going up, but you rarely ever see a super middleweight Latino fighter at that level, right? Like,
look at that. Remember that super middleweight tournament that took place? It was all Americans.
6'3", 6'4". It's very rare where you see that, bro. Yeah. So he has that, like, pure Mexican style of fighting, and then he has a size that we've almost never seen. Like, and they lined up all the guys who were there at super middleweight, and they brought Canelo, and I'm like, that is a interesting fight. I know he's gonna go after Darrell first. He wants his belt back.
Yeah.
But, you know, with this whole Canelo thing, you know, now Triple G signed to Dazzin, so we know we're gonna get that fight. If you're Canelo, what's your next 2 fights after Triple G?
I can't, honestly, off the top of my head, I can't.
I want to see him versus Benavidez. Now, a lot of people are gonna say Benavidez is really young, but, you know, he's about the same age that Canelo was when he fought Mayweather, and Canelo's younger than Mayweather is at that time.
And here's the thing: everyone know at that time when the Canelo Mayweather was taking place, how many people actually said, "Oh, Canelo's not old enough"? But they were hyping him up
because he was so much bigger. It was a terrifying fight.
Yeah, man.
That is a fight I wanted to see because, like I said, after this Triple G situation. Now, I will say this: Canelo does have one of the twins to fight. They'll probably have him fight Cholo. Yeah. The Danny Jacobs fight is not going to be easy. No. So I feel bad. No disrespect to Danny Jacobs. I didn't mean to skip over that because he can end up losing that. Yeah. He gave Triple G. I scored it where Jacobs to me won the fight against Triple G.
Really?
Yeah, bro. And a lot of people said the same thing.
Listen, it was a close fight. Don't get me wrong, but like I still gave Triple G the edge.
Well, I watched it twice. I'm not knocking anybody for that, right? Yeah. I don't look at you if you gave it to Triple G that it's like, oh, you're crazy. No, like it just depends on what you saw. Now maybe because I was so impressed by Jacobs that wave was carrying on by the end of the fight. I was like, oh my god, right? Like, because I didn't expect that. Right. So maybe if I watched it a little more objectively. But man, I would love to see Benavidez
and Canelo.
Yeah, man, like that is one hell of a fight.
And so, that's one thing we people don't give the Charlo twins enough credit either, bro. Because those two boys.
And you know the I can't remember which one it was that just took that loss. I think he won that fight. I think that was some nonsense. He lost to the guy from Morris. He lost to the guy from Detroit.
What's his name? Was Jermell?
Jermell's the one who is undefeated still.
Okay, so he's the one. So it was the other.
The one who lost.
The one who lost.
And you know, you can actually tell the difference in him because he's a little smaller. Like, you know, a lot of twins, like, he's guys are smaller.
I hate when twins do that thing where they got the same haircut.
Yeah, bro, that's so whack,
like,
bro.
Stop, bro. Like, you look the same already. Why are you gonna...
Yeah, and then the fact that, like, not only do you look the same and you have the same haircut, but, like, you have a haircut that, like, isn't even normal. You bleach your hair. Like, come on, bro. Like, whose idea was it? Who's like, oh, I'm gonna do too? Like, that'd be so annoying. I'm like, nah, bro.
Like, what?
Like, I'm trying to differentiate myself from you.
Yeah.
Right? But
we digress anyway.
Yeah, sorry. That was so now Earl Spence called up Pacquiao. Pacquiao didn't seem as excited about that fight after he watched it as he did before. Because before he was all, I want the winner. He's like, yeah, we can. I just didn't feel the vibe that way.
Yeah, I think he saw that performance and he's like, oh wait, you weren't supposed to.
Now the flip side is he's hella foreign, never been great in terms of being in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, and maybe he just like wasn't ready to have that conversation there. What do you think of that fight?
That's a good fight. What I want to know is how I feel like Pacquiao now, all these guys calling him out, is putting a chip on his shoulder because I think they see him as one of the greats. That isn't as great anymore.
And he's undersized.
But is a good payday. He's undersized. And like we've now seen him mortalized. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a couple years ago, like before like Marquez slapped him, like and that was nasty. I feel like once Marquez slapped him, all these young guys were like the hyenas of Lion King.
Yeah,
they started slowly circling.
It's true. But that's what happens. That's what happens in sports. So I think that's an easier fight for Spence. The fight for him, I think, is Crawford. I think that's the Thurman, I think he smokes, man. Like, I'm a big Thurman fan, but like, now it could be rust, it could be a bunch of things, but I was never huge on Thurman, to be honest with you, man. Even when he beat Garcia, because I didn't think Porter beat Garcia to begin with. So like Thurman, I've always been questionable about. So when he got dropped, in that, I'm like, man, if that's Earl Spence or Crawford in that exact same situation,
you're sleeping.
Yeah,
you're sleeping.
So So for me, as I see,
which is why I have them above Thurman. You know what I mean? Thurman's like one of my guys that just slides it off.
So I think Crawford beats Amir pretty easily, and then I think Spence, if he's smart, I think has every reason to keep getting, because like that's what a great way to make a name is fight undersized guys who really probably have no business being in there with you, as opposed to fighting Crawford, who is to me better than those other two and doesn't have the name.
Right.
So I think that's what's we're gonna end up seeing happening is Spence versus Pacquiao. Because now Pacquiao, you can't run from that fight.
No.
You showed up. You
were there. You sat ringside. You can't.
The Mayweather thing we don't know now. I've seen Mayweather training a lot. He's doing crowd therapy. He's doing the ice bath.
Mayweather's always training.
But like, it is weird that he's showing those videos because it's like, why would you bother doing that if you don't want to fight?
I don't take him seriously anymore. Until he pulls out an actual contract and I see pen to paper, you know what I mean? I when it comes to Mayweather, I respect him, but he's gonna keep beating up Chinese teenagers. That's fine.
Easy money.
Get your money. That's cool. But in terms of being like on like in the mix right now, I can't.
So that's what I think we see happen. I think we see Spence versus Pacquiao next. That's a huge fight for both sides.
Yeah.
I think Crawford gets Khan next month, and then I think they give him Thurman. And Thurman has had a lot of slick stuff to say about Crawford, which I don't know where the confidence like that comes from.
Not with a guy like Crawford, man.
But okay. So I think that's what we're gonna see, and I think we see the winners of those two fights fight each other.
Yeah.
Now obviously I can talk about boxing all day, but there's some other big news in MMA that we have to talk about.
My DM's been exploding.
TJ the Snake Dillashaw. So how do you feel about the fact that like his two fights against Cody, like pretty much mean nothing. And he's a cheating snake. And my guy Cody is like.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not gonna say he's the real champ because he got knocked out recently, but like I feel like he wouldn't have gotten knocked out if he didn't lose to a cheater. So like,
okay, but and you know what? That's fair. That's
bro,
fair.
math. Cody Nolo's still the champ. I'm so proud of you, Cody. I'm happy for you, bro. It's awesome. What's your
understand? Okay, so we do understand that Cody has lost 3 times in a row the exact same way. Right?
Bro sides. Yeah, but
so here's the thing.
But like,
in all fairness,
he cheated. So it's like he stole his wave.
But
like,
did he though? Because here's my question.
Karma.
One, in all fairness, Alpha Male has been vocal saying that TJ's been on shit. You know what I mean? They've been saying that.
And the fact that you got caught after getting starched. It's so much easier to respect.
So this is what I'm trying. So I know, but here's the thing. This is what I'm trying to understand. If he's never been caught by USADA at 35, at 25, did he take something in order to make the weight? Like, did he take Winstraw? Did he take Anabar? Did he take Clen? Like, what could it have been?
You know what I think? Okay, if you want to know what I think it was?
It's disappointing.
If we're being honest, karma. The fact that you got starched in 30 seconds and caught cheating simultaneously.
Okay.
And then look how quickly he gave up his belt. I said it before. King Picogram Jones he got popped again technically and still vehemently denies it. Dillashaw didn't even I'm just gonna give it the belt.
No, that's true.
That wasn't weird.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, man,
I think he knew what he was doing. I think he knew he got caught up.
At the end of the day, it's not a good look. I personally, I'm a big Dillashaw fan. I've been a fan of Dillashaw since Ultimate Fighter. I'm disappointed, but I mean, shit.
So
to me, who isn't?
So it's looking like Henry versus Moraes. Who you got?
Moraes over Henry.
I don't know what. Yeah, you know what's weird? I want Henry.
Wait, hold on. Is that 35? Oh, Moraes.
I want to take Moraes. One thing I can say is we never know how much better we're gonna see Henry because that Olympic level athleticism, like every time we see him scared. And then, bro, an extra 10 pounds on him. Who knows, bro? For all we know, he hits way harder than we realize. From what I saw there's times with the Demetrius fight where like when he would hit him, you saw a different looking Demetrius fight. He had him on his heels, and I think a lot had to do with him being he's Mexican.
Yeah.
And I think he's transitioning that same discipline from wrestling into striking.
100%.
And we're seeing a scary dude. He could surprise Moraes. And then the wrestling, I don't know if anybody can stop that guy from taking him down.
I don't think so. The thing about Moraes is that I've been following him since he was in World Series.
He's a freak. Absolutely.
I think when he got signed, I'm a Dillashaw fan. I started panicking a little.
The Sunza fight, the Rivera fight, I was definitely impressed. I just don't think they're the same level athletes as Henry, and I think the risk of the takedown, he's gonna be a little more tentative. Yeah. I think he's gonna be a little more respectful. 100%. So I don't know if it's my heart or whatever. I want Henry to have that belt.
Hey, it's not your heart. Your bias towards wrestlers off the top.
Yeah, I want Henry to win that fight.
I want to see Moraes do it. I think Moraes is right now, that fight is what we're going to be seeing.
Now, I will say this.
Athletes versus fighters.
Now, I will say this. Now with the TJ thing, we're not going to get to see him fight Henry right away. If Henry does what I said before, when I say if he beats Moraes definitively and becomes the double champ, Olympic champ, that GOAT?
Conversation. Strong
Until I see Jones go up, I'm sorry. And then I'm sorry, the picograms. Too many picograms in the mix.
Well, to me, I know, but to me, the GOAT is still George.
Nah, yes and no.
To me,
the reason I say no is just because I have to count the Olympic wrestling. I think the fact that he's already in a class of his own. Nobody can talk about this guy, and so if he then adds to that, it's like when Barry Bonds was in the 500 club, and then when he got 600, it's like you're still in your own club. I think it's the same thing. If he gets a double champ, Olympic champ, I think it's just you're so many, and then he's not undefeated.
But in all fairness, can we really give guys, when we're talking about the greatest MMA fighter of all time, right? Can we really talk about guys bringing in their accolades from other sports into MMA? Is that
if you become a double champ? Yeah.
Is that fair though?
If you become a double champ, and I'm sorry, no disrespect to George, come on, man, Michael Bisping.
It doesn't matter. He still did it.
Michael Bisping.
But it doesn't matter.
Michael Bisping.
Okay, but guess what? Outside of us who are like our MMA IQs higher, he beats Marlon Moraes. People are gonna be like, Marlon Moraes?
Well, no, but yeah, okay, fair enough.
But you see what I'm saying?
If you know, that's a more dangerous guy for his division than Bisping.
I know, but at the end of the day, he coming off what?
And then you start
2 or 3 year later.
There's a serious argument that outside of just like legacy, you could argue TJ's a better fighter than anybody pound for pound that GSP ever beat. TJ was on a path.
No.
Pound for pound?
We can't do that.
Who has a better skill set?
BJ.
I don't think so.
When he fought BJ?
I think BJ Penn's always had a cardio issue. If we go off of every single metric, too many issues on
Okay, so you're going to put Thiago Alves, BJ Penn,
let's not talk
Jake
about Thiago
Shields.
in the same place as TJ Dillashaw, please.
See, but this is
and
where...
you're a fan of his.
No, this is where I get frustrated.
Who's more well-rounded of a fighter?
No, but this is what I'm saying. This is where I get frustrated when people get into the GOAT talk, is because MMA is still so new, but we always forget about the fighters.
Who is a more well-rounded fighter than TJ that GSP ever beat?
Let's think about
BJ was never as good of a kickboxer.
Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz.
No way.
You don't take them over TJ.
If we're going athleticism, wrestling, striking, jiu-jitsu, everything, I can't say over TJ.
You're gonna take Nick Diaz. You're gonna take.
I want TJ over Nick Diaz. I think TJ's a way better athlete. I think he's better conditioned. I think he has more skills.
He's not better than conditioned. This guy runs decathlons.
Yeah, that's fine. But when have you ever seen TJ tired?
Never.
Exactly. So let's say they're even. But when have you ever seen Nick knock somebody out with a head kick or out wrestle somebody?
Not with a head kick, but
he lost. Didn't he lose to freaking Diego Sanchez? End of the conversation.
Oh God. Okay, well then. So then at that point in his career, that's the same as saying, TJ lost to John Dodson.
Yeah, but are you saying getting knocked out and mauled for 15 minutes is the same thing? I think getting mauled for 15 minutes is definitive.
But did he get mauled? Did he get mauled?
Kamal Usman said it. I like tech falling guys. I like mauling you for 15 minutes. There's nothing left to say. With the Dodson thing, TJ and a lot of other guys proved that Dodson, it was a great knockout, but like he's a one-punch knockout guy. It's not the same as getting mauled. Diego Sanchez mauled him.
I'm looking at where they were in their careers. I think they're
at
those parts where they lose.
And fair, at that point, Diaz was already one of the top guys. He was like TJ was fresh off the
coming in at that time. No one even knew who Nick Diaz was.
One guy was fresh off the Ultimate Fighter. The other guy had already beaten a young Robbie Lawler who was supposed to be a big deal. The other guy had already beaten a bunch of people.
Yeah, but are we really going to count the infancy of people's careers?
All I'm saying is I can't say that Nate Diaz, a guy who was never champ. Nick. Okay, period. If you're not the champ, I don't want to hear you in the conversation of champs. But at least bring up BJ's the only person we can talk about, or Matt Hughes. So you can't bring up a guy who was never champion
in the UFC.
No, I don't care if you're a champion in Strikeforce. And then he lose to like KJ Noons in Strikeforce too.
Yeah, but that was because of a cut.
Once again,
he didn't actually get
but it's like just too many guys who are never champions.
Okay, so
he lost too many non-champions and was never a champion.
Okay, so
I don't want to hear about you.
I want to hear about champions. So whose resume is more impressive, Dillashaw's or GSP's?
I think overall length and everything, I would give it to GSP. But I think if we're talking about all-around skill set, I can't name anybody that GSP beat who had a more all-around developed game.
Really? That's disappointing here, man.
Name a guy who had that good at kickboxing and wrestling that he ever fought.
Condit's
wrestling was trash. He gets taken out by everybody.
It was trashy enough. It just wasn't that good.
Okay, so it wasn't good. One was an All-American and knocked people out with head kicks.
Okay.
The other person...
Well, just because he has more tools, but styles make fights, man.
Okay, and once again, you have more tools, and like, you know, you're telling me that you're more impressed when you watch Condit strike than TJ Dillashaw?
At that time,
you know what's weird? You know what's weird?
At that time,
that's all we're talking about. Like, once again, if we're talking about the development of the sport, it is what it is. And you're a TJ fan. TJ is a more well-rounded fighter than Carlos Condit. As a guy who's not a fan of his, I'm baffled you would even...
I honestly think that Condit was more... Maybe I'm biased because I grew up on Condit.
Really? More well-rounded than TJ?
I really think so. Just because I know what Condit can do in terms of jiu-jitsu and compared to what TJ has done.
Well, if that's the case, I don't know how you ever talked about TJ being one of the best. If you're putting Condit above him.
I still think he is one of the best.
So how is Condit above him? Who did Condit ever beat? Who's the best guy Condit ever beat?
Diaz. I still think those are... I think those are valid feathers. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of opinion. Okay?
Well, I'm happy I was able to get you to admit that TJ sucks, because if you put...
I did not say TJ sucks.
If you put Carlos Condit ahead of TJ, I don't want to hear...
I don't think Carlos Condit sucks.
I didn't say... I mean,
Carlos Condit won the WEC title and the UFC
He's tough. I just don't... interim title, and they lost it to George right away.
Yeah, well, because George is George.
You know, and like I said, he just lost too many guys. Like, Condit more well-rounded than TJ.
I think Condit's at the end of his career.
Thank you for proving my point.
He's at the end of his career.
TJ was overhyped.
He was never overhyped. Now you're trying to flip the argument now.
You put Condit above TJ Dillashaw.
In terms of more well-rounded, in terms of who George beat that was well-rounded?
So a guy who was never an official champion is better than a guy who beat one of the greatest champions of all time.
I didn't say better. I said
like
more
Renan Barão. Are we really pretending that Condit ever beat anybody better than Renan Barão? And he did it to him twice? A guy who went on the longest streak in 135.
Unpopular opinion, I didn't think Renan Barão was that good, and I told everyone for a long time Renan Barão was on some shit because I heard.
TJ beat him when he was on shit.
And what happened the moment USADA came in? Not when he was on shit. No, but when USADA came in.
USADA came in after the TJ thing. TJ beat him the first time he was on shit. Supposedly.
USADA didn't come in on that first fight.
It was after the second one.
It was after the second one,
and that's how he went up to 145. So thank you for proving my point.
Fair.
All right. Well, we've established it. TJ Dillashaw's overhyped.
He's not overhyped.
And a cheater.
He's not overhyped.
Well, Carlos Colon's better than him.
Cheating.
A guy who never had an official belt is better than him. So I guess his belt was.
Hey, there's guys in the UFC that were better.
If you've never had an official belt and you're supposedly better than the guy who had an official belt, well then your official belt is.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Over who?
Think of any champion in the history of the sport. Tell me Anthony Johnson over Tim Sylvia. Do you think he's better than Tim Sylvia?
I definitely think so.
Okay, but Anthony Johnson never had a fucking belt.
Yeah, but you're trying to bring up the guy from the past and the guy who never had an official belt. Rumble is the newer guy. So if you're the newer guy and didn't have a belt, that's better than being
they
the
were
old guy with
competing
the
at the same time.
No, they weren't.
Not in the UFC, but they were competing at the same time.
So Tim Sylvia was getting knocked out by old boxers by the time Rumble got to the UFC.
Yeah,
so thank you for proving my point.
But you're proving my point though, because we're talking about guys who were better than champions. But
you're bringing up the newer guy. I'm bringing up the newer guy who also has the belt.
Okay, Anthony Rumble Johnson or Robert Whittaker?
All around, you have to give it to Whittaker. I've never seen Whittaker break. Yoel Romero couldn't break him, and he blew his ACL out. We watched Rumble break every time he goes to the ground.
Guys, it's been a wonderful episode. Thank you.